All right. Hey, everybody, it's Laura Eisenhower. I have my YouTube channel back. I can't believe it. I'm so happy about it. I've missed having this platform. And of course, I'm going to have to be careful on this platform, but it's really, really great to be back here, especially on a live. And it's just so awesome to be with this group of individuals for just talking about this incredible event that's coming up, Camp Disclosure, August 26th, 27th, 28th, and 29th in Georgia. And I'll tell you real quick, Unicoi State Park near Helen, Georgia. And this is about Starseed Reunion. It's just going to be incredible. I've gotten to know all these individuals over the course of many, many years. And we need this so much, community, to raise our vibration, to just be in joy. So I'm going to go around and say hi to everybody. And MatthewMournian, I know you've seen my interviews with him in the past. It's always incredible to talk to him. And Barry Littleton, and I've got to know him a bit in the former events at like a SETI. And then Geraldine, I've gotten to know at former events as well. And then Christy and I are kind of getting more acquainted for the first time. So I'm just going to kind of go around. You can share a few words about yourself, and then we'll get into what this event is all about. And before we close, I want everybody to know I have an online webinar on Sunday at 12 Pacific time, and it's about upgrading in the face of adversity. It should be very empowering and activating. And those links will be in the description. But yeah, let's start with you, Matthew, or the main organizer. Is that you, Christy? Well, we'll just start with Matthew.
Thank you, first off. And I want to say for everybody out there, welcome back to YouTube. That was a sudden, leaving. I am really, really glad they let you back. Thank you to all the AI archons out there for letting us back in the door. We're back. Now what? But anyway, thank you for having me here as well. And you guys, we have Camp Disclosure coming up. I think it's in the next week. But in the meantime, who am I? MatthewMournian. You guys can find me at rememberyourmission.com. And really, this entire year for me right now is about getting our soul group trained, getting their, energy systems open, teaching people about energetic anatomy, and honestly training an army of people that are able to see through what's really going on in the world right now. And so, I just want to say I'm honored to be here, and thank you.
Well, it's great to have you. It's always amazing to talk to you. And Barry, tell us a bit about yourself and a bit about, your participation in Camp Disclosure. And we'll talk more in depth too about that.
Barry Littleton, I'm what this is called now an experiencer, a contactee, and kind of what I enjoy doing is united the communities and also the scientific community with that. I use a lot of science to kind of balance and understand what my experiences were. So that's kind of where I'm coming from. I've done a lot of work on YouTube and kind of just still along for the ride, hoping that we turn into a type 1 civilization, trying to assist however I can with that. So and I feel people that haven't been ready for disclosure are getting ready for disclosure, because what we're seeing in the world today is so difficult to process that this is the ultimate breakthrough, is to bring in these kind of topics and see a much, much larger picture for ourselves. So that's so awesome. Thanks for sharing. And Geraldine, share a few words about yourself. Camp Disclosure.
Thank you so much for having me here. What a great group of people it is here. And what I do is I'm a certified hypnotherapist, and I'm an NLP practitioner, and I practice doing DNA reprogramming. So my primary work is about helping the body prepare for this time of change, learning how to connect with our multidimensional body. And I am also a Qigong master, so I'll be facilitating some Qigong practices at the conference with Christy here, and talking about what we are, holographic DNA, and what we need to know about that in order to move into the next 10 years of major, major change.
Yeah, beautiful. That's so awesome. Oh, Christy, tell us about yourself and the event.
Thank you so much for having us on, and congratulations on being back. That is huge. That's a miracle in and of itself. And so that's awesome. I'm Christy Oates. I am the producer of Camp Disclosure. Last year was our first year. And I've never done anything like this before. I'm actually a nurse, a psychiatric nurse practitioner. And I got activated in 2018 with the Cosmic Disclosure series on Gaia, and Corey Good's coming out, and started going to conferences. And that's where I met all of you guys, is through the conferences, and got introduced to your material and thought it's just such an important thing. And we don't have anything like it on the East Coast. And I don't think we have enough of these conferences in general. We should have them like in every city every month. The more the merrier. So me and a couple of friends said, well, let's just try it. Let's just see what we can do. And so we're doing it for the second year in a row. And we're super honored to be part of this community and able to provide this gathering for us. So thank you for having me.
Oh, totally. Yeah, well, it's going to be a lot of fun. There's a lot of speakers, and I could, read the list, but I mean, there's, gosh, what, like 10, 15?
20 speakers. We have 2 stages. Yeah.
Right. Alexis Buck, Apollo Asteria, Eric Rains. I mean, the list goes on. So I'll put the website in the description so everybody can see. It's on a beautiful lake, really beautiful setting. And just, you'll get like a major blast of nature. And I know each of you is bringing something to the table as far as so how is it kind of structured? You're doing workshops, lectures, or like, how is it structured? And can we go around and talk a little bit about the themes that you're focused in on, and maybe how you're working with these particular themes in this current time that we're in, and how these tools and this greater knowledge or wisdom and awareness is assisting you in these kind of turbulent times that are very confusing for people. So a little bit about what you're going to be discussing and how that knowledge base applies to the here and now, and the way it might be assisting you. Starting with you, we'll just stick with the go for it, Matthew.
Yeah, thank you. So what am I doing in this strange mix-up here? My primary assignment on Earth right now is quite literally opening up people's intuitive abilities, teaching our soul group how to really, use what's going on within the body, and how to understand this sort of upgrading thing that's taking place right now with this great dimensional shift. You yourself, Laura, are doing a thing about an upgrade as well. The whole theme of Camp Disclosure this year, strangely enough, are about these upgrades that take place. Geraldine works with DNA upgrading. We are living in a stage here on Earth in which your human body, your human potentials are greater than they have ever been. And so myself and many other people are literally on a path right now to help everybody figure out how that works. And we're also doing it together at the same time. We're all kind of figuring out this process. But my kind of offering this year, what I've been tasked to do for I think about the next 3 years or so, is to do a number of briefings, just informing the populace as to what's actually going on within the nature of energetic anatomy, how the meridian system actually works, and really how those systems are changing, and we're coming into new states of consciousness and awareness. And so that's what we'll be talking about, that and lots of other strange ET matters, which I'll leave for another discussion. But yeah, so that's what we're doing. Thank you.
Nice. What about you, Barry?
I'll be talking a lot about kind of expanding, quote unquote, the modalities of contact, how some of us have had contact that isn't necessarily emphasized in the media and the mainstream. And I think a lot of people are looking for something they can relate to when it comes to that, and kind of how awareness factors into that, consciousness focuses into that. And I talk a lot about the technologies I've encountered on board craft, and kind of I'll tie that even more this lecture into how black holes actually function, which is as hard drives of the universe, and how they actually function in terms of consciously and through conscious waves. So things like that can connect more, because being able to talk to people and scientifically talk to some real scientists also helped me to really open up to what I experienced and why, you know what I mean? It kind of just, and I think for some of us, when we hear a lot about contact, it is not like what we're having, and it's not like what we're hearing about in the mainstream. And I think that has to be addressed a lot, period.
Oh, absolutely. Oh, man. So that's going to bring me to my next question when I go back around again. So what about you, Geraldine?
Yeah, so I'll be discussing holographic DNA, the architecture of the human body, which is an organism, organic and the etheric aspect of it, and how it displays itself, and how it's involved in the co-creation of not just the world, but our multiverse. I'll also be taking a look at how our genetics play a tremendous role in the kind of contact that we're having, in the kind of experiences that we have throughout our life that are both, regular everyday experiences and also in the etheric realms, in 9th, 10th, 11th dimensional dream time, contact, all of these things, and how it's kind of been going down our ancestral lineage, how we can learn how to work with that information, both in our healing and in order to activate higher strands of this multidimensional body. So that's my primary area of discussion.
Sweet. What about you, Christy?
Well, I wanted to speak to, you had asked about the structure of the gathering, and that was so important to us. We spent a lot of time developing that intentionally. We decided that we wanted to try and keep it kind of small, definitely in nature. That was very intentional for to have it immersed in nature, and not too spread out in terms of a whole lot of stages and a whole lot of workshops and actions. We wanted to keep the group together, to keep the energy more cohesive, and because part of our mission or vision is that we're using this to raise the vibration of the collective consciousness. So we wanted to intentionally make sure that we stay together as a group and use that energy to amplify it, and then use it intentionally to share with the collective and raise the vibration of consciousness. So there's a few workshops, they're all free. We are not charging extra for those. And we made sure that every speaker is interactive. We wanted to definitely make sure that every speaker offered something to the audience that they could walk away with and use immediately. And then the last thing I want to say on that is we made sure to add a little bit of meditation, group meditation, and a little bit of group qigong every day to, again, cultivate that high vibe energy. So that's kind of the structure of what to expect in terms of the schedule.
Nice. And I love the whole concept of Starseed Family Reunion, because we all kind of activate each other. We all bring something to the table, and it just really lights that greater calling and mission up within ourselves. So when we're facing all this adversity, we can remind ourselves in the face of those stressors to access the higher guidance and awareness that knows what to do in these crazy times. So, can you speak on that as I'll go around again, just in the moments of adversity or the option to go into sort of fear or overwhelmed with the what ifs? How are you kind of navigating these times? What would you say your most kind of go-to or favorite method is to kind of bring you back to center, starting with you, Matthew?
Thank you. Well, I have one that probably everybody here will mention, just in sort of like the sort of rawness of the moment. A lot of people have been talking about a very ancient practice that is resurging, kind of on the earth plane. That is Qigong. It's something that I've noticed every single practitioner and person at Camp Disclosure is involved with on some level. And I think that's because it's one of the most ancient modalities that's available to humans to rebalance their energy on a physical and non-physical level. That's one of the things that's been very helpful to me. But I would say on a more collective level, to me, this is the greatest time that we could have ever chosen to incarnate on this planet. And everyone that's here, especially those of you that will hear my voice, understand that you came into this strange simulation on the hardest setting, on expert difficulty. Usually the only beings that can handle that difficulty are true professionals. And so if you've made it this far, it's because you're meant to be here and because this is what we signed up for. That said, there are many, many tools available to us. I'm one of many people on the earth plane doing this work. And so I will pass it on to everyone else. But yeah, this is the greatest time to be here, guys. So.
Yeah, and I have to say, I asked him a question before we went live, a really tough question. I'm not going to put too much attention on. And man, what a brilliant answer. Just the whole idea of like the harvesting and siphoning and just getting us all lit up or in our survival chakra to the point we can't think clearly. You really called out as far as how you're navigating some of the crazy news that we hear. And I just wanted to just give that a shout out because that was just such a great perspective. And I totally agree, but it's really nice to be able to remind each other because sometimes it's just, we wake up and weird reality, even though we kind of knew it was coming and we're here for this. Exactly. Okay. What about you, Barry? What's sort of your go-to modality or kind of grounded thought form in your wisdom body that helped you get back to center when it just starts to get to be too much out there?
One would be kind of coming to what we could call the totality of oneself. And those that are familiar with hypnosis know what I'm talking about in terms of when you're ultimately aware and dealing with your awareness. Because there's so much negativity that we hear here just through the media alone, let alone what we might see, that it makes it really hard to try to think that this isn't a prison plan and things like that. So trying to think the higher side of that this actually is a time of a shift of change of consciousness, and kind of trying to see that through and center myself and keep my own self cleared, my space cleared. You've got so many different layers here. You've got trauma that walks around this planet like a member of the population. And then you've got a number of other things that you have to deal with throughout your life that keeps it very hard to keep centered, let alone deal with the things we're dealing with, which are some of the higher aspects of the contact. A lot of the beings that we're interacting with are of higher vibration for some of us. That's something that we don't hear about a lot. It needs to be emphasized more. And what is that like? What is it like to be in the presence of a non-human that's got a real high vibration like that? That gives you some type of a kundalini release when you're around them, some type of a Shakti pat. That's what I felt when I was around some of these non-humans. So food for thought, if nothing else, right?
Oh, totally. I mean, it's such a different energy. I've done a few interviews recently, just, reflecting on some of those kind of stories where a perspective shift or the presence of something that is already in that energy field or something within ourselves in our multidimensional consciousness that has that sort of shift, and the physical reality around you just changes. All of a sudden synchronicities show up, and the flow and magic of creation is right there. And fear and anxiety in the survival chakra doesn't give us access at all to that. And so seeing all these people give their power away, I feel a lot will have a breakthrough. And do you feel, just real quick before we move on, and you guys can answer that, and Matthew, if you want to jump in, do you feel that some of these tactics and weaponry that is being used is irreversible? Or do you feel that even if a person has made detrimental choices, that they can somehow transmute it and get on board and still be a part of a greater timeline than?
That's a good question.
I know. Now I got you all here, and it's like, we were just going to promote. I'll be cool.
I will say real quick, I'll just jump in. So I just got done talking. I think that, going beyond the point of redemption is the point, like, how much karma do you want to incur? Like how much, that's to the point where someone that's murdering and doing things like that and participating in really dark arts, that's a matter of how much redemption can come in. For the rest of us, I would think that, those of us that are willing to try and give the effort, to try to move forward with this and stay positive. And also not just that, but dealing with some things like, for example, the earthbound spirits on this planet, those people like you and I that do not cross over for whatever reason. It's land, substance abuse, property is a big one. We've seen that, or just, the loved ones not being able to detach. I've found that they've been, especially through hypnosis, I found that they are just as numerous. The earthbound spirits are as numerous on this planet as the living. And that needs to be addressed. How many people get joined with these spirits and don't know it or unaware of it. So these things are like that need to be really addressed here. And I think before we start getting the things, people, the demons, yeah, that's another layer. But let's deal with the you and I level first, and what's really on this planet. And that's one of the layers. There are a lot of layers of trauma on this planet, like I keep saying, and I'm hoping that's something that we're reversing now through things like this conference coming up. So I'll shut up there.
That is so major. I'd love to see before and after pictures of everybody who shows up at Camp Disclosure, and then when they leave, just total energy shift, and what it's going to do to the land and how it's going to ripple out and just be felt by all of us. I was going to be there with all of you, but I had a previous engagement that I had committed to. But man, it looks like so much fun. It's like the best camp ever. I grew up going to camp, and I just love the whole energy of camp, and oh yeah, multidimensional awareness and being able to see the larger picture is the greatest medicine, because people are really giving up on the creative imagination and all that's possible for the limitation of this, propaganda and these, narratives that, yep. So what about you, Geraldine? What are your thoughts? Like, what is your sort of go-to modality or maybe, I don't know, a place within yourself that brings you back to center if you begin to feel like you're getting a little bit ungrounded by the energies, or maybe you just don't even get ungrounded by the energies, because I know you work energy in a very masterful way. But yeah, how are you kind of navigating this?
Yeah, and I also want to address the question you just asked, because that's such an important question that doesn't get asked a lot about, what happens if you've already done all these, terrible things, is there redemption? Is there something like that? But we have to remember the laws of energy. Energy never disappears, it's just reallocated. So all that's happening is that even though each experience that we choose to do creates a timeline, that is true, it creates a timeline. You can't reverse that. That exists now. Just the way our imagination and our thoughts is creating on another dimensional plane, we're creating that. That's why you have to be very conscious of what you're, the energies that you're tapping into. But that being said, we're here in the three-dimensional plane to experience the duality, which is this very sensory, feeling, emotional body. So going to your next question, when we're mostly down here in the first three chakras and our root and our sacral is way out of balance, this creates the perception that we're looking at reality. And so that becomes a filter where everything is duality. It's compartmentalized in light, dark, black, white, all these things that are just separation. So what I do is remind myself that even though that is a way to perceive reality, it doesn't have to be your only perception. We also have to broaden the perception and notice that there's actually many potential ways to see things. And that allows you not to only stick to looking at things as neutrality, as duality, but neutrality, right? Not just sticking to that dualistic view. And I think that just reminding myself of that really allows me to kind of take a step back and not have to judge or categorize what I'm seeing, and create a really solid foundation, and no longer seeing it from the roots, the sacral, the solar, but kind of from the heart center now, that unity consciousness. I like to use the analogy that we're like Swiss cheese that is kind of learning how to heal, become whole again, healing those little holes, the holes that we have in the aura of pain and suffering, where we enter in that kind of artificial intelligence, attachments, entities, all that stuff that connects to us. We begin to clear out, heal, and become whole. We fill it in with that white light, the source light that enters through the body, and become whole again. So that kind of helps me remember, that's my empowerment.
Oh yeah, really brilliantly put. And I'm going to remember it every time I see Swiss cheese too, because
there you go.
And what an incredible and awesome metaphor. It's so true. It's so true. Just we're either a food source, or we're empowered and we're in that direct connect, and our light body and our auric field is just so rock solid that nothing can really penetrate. And so our creative channels don't stand a chance of getting infected.
Exactly.
To enable something we don't want to see, because they want to trick us out of our own greater potential. Any thoughts on what we've all been sharing, Christy?
Yeah, absolutely. Immediately, two things came to mind. And the first is a kind of a version of what all of y'all have said, which is just remembering who I am, remembering the creative power that I have to create, to either focus on, become a loose production machine and fall for the propaganda and the fear factor and all of that, or not, and focus on creating the new earth, supporting new earth leaders, and creating the paradigms that we all believe in and are talking about. So that was the first thing, just remembering that I have the power to create, depending on where I focus. It's just that easy. And then the second thing is community, having this community of like-minded people. I think, like you said, Laura, just moments ago, like to remind us who we are and to help support us and to give us the confidence to believe it and know it and act on it and share in it. So community, like we have at camp, like we have at all the gatherings, like we have at, in doing Zooms like this, doing lives like this, just coming together and supporting each other. It's so important.
Absolutely. And that the collective energy that everybody brings to the table, just working with just the ability to harmonize with each other and just hold such a high level of mutual love and respect, and different approaches to reaching the same goal that is going to find a certain resonance in, everybody, to unlock what's been dormant, and all of you together. I mean, that's so powerful. And then you have like an ecstatic dance in the forest on the Saturday. I don't know if, you do that pretty much every night. Boy, does that sound like a lot of fun. I'm going to miss this, but
Next year for sure, Laura. We'll make it happen.
oh, that's awesome. So yeah, it's happening and it's right around the corner, everybody. And you can get a link. I have a link that gives you a bit of a discount that you can see in the description. And this is right around the corner. We're talking August 26th, 27th, 28th, 29th. And so what, they just go on the link and register and just show up and you get your lodgings sorted out and then boom, right?
Right. So there's so many options. You can come for the full weekend for sure. But some people might just want to come for the day, Saturday or Sunday. Some people might just want to come for the music only. And some people might just want to do the live stream. I'm really proud of the live stream that we're offering. That's all the main stage speakers. And to me, I have gotten so much value from the live streams that I've seen at other conferences. It's just such a easy, accessible way to get this information that we don't have really a place to get. We don't really have the TV shows so much anymore. We don't really, sometimes we have YouTube, sometimes we don't. That's certainly a challenge to get our message out. And so I think the live stream is a really powerful way to do that. So if you can't make it in person, obviously that's the full package experience of in person. It's different than live stream, but the live stream is very valuable, I think.
Very cool. Well, let's go around one more time and just maybe any closing words, anything you want to share about the event or something significant that is kind of coming through, maybe a recent download or just something to sort of end with. And if nothing's really coming through, then just, you can just say your final words to close out our roundtable together, which has been so fun and uplifting. And I'm feeling so much better. I realize how much it's so important to stay in this flow. Oh, I won't go into my weird world right now about that. Matthew, any kind of closing final words and thoughts?
Thank you. Yes, I will make it quick because as you guys know, watch out, I'll just keep going. But honestly, if you're part of the people on earth that are able to hear this message right now, you have a purpose. There is an entirely new soul group of individuals and people rising up on the earth plane that can assist you in really figuring out what you're doing here and what's happening. You do not have to be a victim to this viral madness that is happening in the world. And whether it's me or the people on this live stream or the many other events this year, there's this massive, massive change coming in. So I'm very, very excited and honored to be a part of it. We'll be doing a really cool thing at Camp Disclosure this year. You can find me at rememberyourmission.com, and I'm just honored to be here with everyone else. I'll see you next week, and I'm going to pass it on to you guys. So, yeah.
Awesome. Thank you, Matthew. I look forward to hearing about it, and I'll be keeping up with everyone. Go ahead, Barry.
Something I noticed on several of the questions that you asked amongst everyone that spoke, it was consistent several times, which is the manifesting the unmanifested, bringing the unmanifested into manifesting through creative visualization, through intent of will. I heard that being emphasized in everything everyone said. So I think that's very, very good. That's even taken us from, the left brain, right brain thing and consciously bringing things into manifestation. That's something we don't often talk about, or a lot of us are so busy paying our bills, we don't know how to do, which is actually how to project our intent of will. That's very important. So I see that's something that's been going on here, and I look forward to that and the positive information. You can find me, I've got a website, barrylittleton.com, but it's under construction and needs help. But you can find a lot of my YouTube stuff there, or social outlets that I use. So I'm looking forward to seeing everyone, and thank you for having me on here.
Oh yeah, it's been so wonderful. It's so great to see you again, and thank you for
please tell your son I said hello also. I enjoyed him a lot. Very gifted.
Oh, at a SETI?
Yes. He's the one person that would be out there at 3 a.m. in the field of dreams watching UFOs. He's one of the very few.
And he's sitting here, right? He just walked in the door. Isn't that funny? So, Gavin, did you hear that? Just come say hi real quick, maybe. Oh yeah, no, that was great. So he'll just say hi.
Hey there.
What's up, bro? How you doing, man? I don't know if you remember me.
I remember you well.
All right. Good to see you again.
I have to get there to Decatur at another event sometime.
Oh yeah, we'll be creating stuff, but we're all just going to stick together.
Get some cool conversation, man. I appreciate you.
Definitely. Hope to talk to you soon in the future.
Thanks. Cool. Thank you.
Fix your
Sweet.
thing.
Okay, Geraldine, what about you?
Yeah, just wanted to add a note about, the whole conversations that we're having about ET consciousness. Why is it important for us to pay attention to that now more than ever? And I think, this is why Camp Disclosure is so important, that we have a variety of people speaking on different topics from spirituality to ETs, but ETs is really coming into the place mainstream now. And when we talk about unity consciousness, we're not just talking about, your own internal work and us with our communities. We're talking about becoming unity conscious with all organisms. Not just, every living organism. We need to come into that place where we're aware that we're uniting intergalactically, interdimensionally into a completely new level of awareness. So please come listen and learn about all these different ways of contact and the meaning of that and how it plays a role in our reality. So that's all I have to say. Thank you. And my website, Geraldine Orozco, of course, and my YouTube. That's it.
Oh, absolutely brilliant. So much powerful light energy and transmissions you're going to get from her and all these folks. My gosh, it's going to be and we'll be over in Shasta doing our stuff, and we'll link up. We should. Oh
my God, yes.
Yeah, we're it's a Rob Potter event. I'll keep in touch through text though and figure out maybe we can link up somehow.
I would love that.
Yeah. So Christy, final thoughts and where to find you and just anything. Yeah.
Yeah. I'd like to invite people to check out our YouTube channel, campdisclosure.com, if you want to learn more about the speakers that are going to be there. We had a little show this summer called Frequency Fridays, where we had the different speakers on. So if you're curious about what you might experience, then check that out. And if what our mission and our vision resonates with you, I invite you to support us in whatever way you can, whether it be through the live stream or attending in person for a day or for music or for the whole event. And if not this year, then next year, because we will be back. I'm just excited that it seems to be taking off and people seem to be resonating with it. And thank you for helping us spread the word, Laura, and for having us on.
Oh, absolutely. My pleasure. It's so good to see all of you. Everybody, you got to find a way to make it or show up at the live stream. Tell your friends. If you know anybody in Georgia in the local area, be sure to let them know. Spread this link around. It's going to be incredible. And it's really going to light up the planet in the most beautiful way. And I feeling really good about all this, and brilliant job, Christy, and all of you. I love you. Thank you for being here with me tonight, and have a wonderful time. And we'll be in touch for sure to just catch up about it. Maybe we'll have an after sort of panel and we can hear the highlights. That'd be awesome.
Yeah. Awesome.
Okay.
Bye. Thank you. Have a good night.
Okay. Bye, guys.